Well, that just is not good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nope, that's my coffee. Did he get a nut?
Today we are answering your frequently asked questions.
This is like our 7th take of trying to just get the introduction done because of Kramer. Anyway, so today we're doing an FAQ video, which always makes me feel a little bit self-absorbed, like you guys want to know everything about us, listen to our wisdom, but that's... it was sort of spontaneous. We had one video all locked and loaded, ready to go, and then we had a scheduling conflict with just a few things in the back end that had to be tied up, so we're going to release that later.
We asked you guys over on Instagram and you guys delivered. So without further ado, let's get into your questions. Oh, and if you have a question that we didn't answer, leave it in the comments below.
Oh, we should mention that these are not the same comments that we've been getting for the podcast.
That's true.
So people have been submitting voicemails and text messages, and we've seen all of them. Thank you all if you're watching this and you submitted one. You guys have asked really good questions.
Yeah.
But the problem with those questions is that they're very in-depth, which is what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to answer those here because I feel like one question could be an entire episode. So just, we see your questions and we're not bypassing you or ignoring you. We have them, but we're going to answer those in the podcast.
Yeah. All right.
So let's go. We just woke up, in case you can't tell. What are you most excited for this summer?
This summer, I am excited to start traveling. I mean, we're already traveling, but I'm excited about some of the destinations that we get to travel to.
So we're starting the summer with a road trip, if you guys don't already know that. We started in Greenville, and then we're doing Athens, Georgia, Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm not going to list any other ones. Those are for sure the first 3.
Yeah, we're heading up the Carolinas. And if you know anything about the Carolinas, they know how to eat, which I love.
I used to live in Athens for school. Go Dogs. This is my, we just visited, and I had to get a new t-shirt. And then in July, we have some international travels, which we're not going to reveal too much about yet until we're actually there, because we have a really bad track record of that.
Yeah, it feels like every time we announce to you guys, we're going somewhere, the plans fall through. So we're gonna keep this location tight on our lips until we're actually there.
So we're going there partially for us and our YouTube and travel blog and all that, but the other part is we're working with a nonprofit while we're there, which is going to be so cool. And we're going to show like behind the scenes of working with this nonprofit. It's going to be really cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I don't really want to reveal too much about what we're doing.
We're excited.
But it's just wait and see. Okay, so that's what we're excited for this summer. Let's just move on. If you could travel anywhere right now, money not a problem, where would it be? Oh my word. That's such a hard question.
That is, because we want to go everywhere, but I think off the top of my head, I would probably say Japan.
I feel like my answer changes throughout the day. I mean, they'll probably change twice in this cup of coffee. But I think in this moment right now, Africa. Our friends Jeff and Patty actually have me in the mood to go to Africa. They just got to Africa and they're overlanding for 30 days. So jealous. Yeah, I think I really kind of want to do Africa right now, like Southern Africa, and just, man, talk about like another world. I've never been to Africa. Any more hosted trips planned? Maybe something domestic. Yes.
We loved hosting a trip to Iceland. Absolutely
So
loved
fun.
it. Yeah, we loved
That
not
was such
just
a highlight for the year.
it was because we not only got to be in this beautiful place, but we got to be with people just like you, and I think that's really what made it special. I mean, I remember jumping on the trampoline.
The little thing, yeah,
Yeah.
the ground. Yeah. I think my strongest memories are when we had everybody there. We were so busy that first week, we were just trying to see so much and film so much. But the second week, it was more about being with the people, and that was fun.
So with that said, yes, we want to do more hosted trips. It just takes a while to get them situated, and I think doing one domestically would be a lot of fun.
It'd be pretty simple too. If you were to do one domestically, like we've picked like 5 or 6 international destinations that we sort of rough planned. Domestically, we've had a couple people throw out ideas. Alaska, which Alaska technically, yes, that's domestic, but that's a big domestic.
Big domestic.
So if you have suggestions for domestic, please let us know. It can be a state, a city, a national park, a combination of the two. Give us your ideas. Maybe you want a theme tour, maybe you want a food tour or a cycling trip, or
Like a coffee tour of Seattle.
and then also how much leadway time do you guys need to plan something domestic and then also something international? Because we don't want to just throw something at you guys and be, 3 months time, obviously,
Yeah.
but is 6 months, 5 months doable for you guys to get time off for, a 5, even 4-day domestic trip, 4 to 7 day domestic? I think domestic would probably be relatively short.
Whether you guys know it or not, we kind of run on a whim sometimes, and so we're able to move pretty fast. Within a week's notice, we're like, yeah, we'll be at your house. We know other people, they need more time to plan.
Somebody just said work. I'm not sure what that question is. Maybe they want to know what we do for work.
Or maybe you're telling us to work harder. So we get this question quite a bit. Besides YouTube, our work consists of doing a lot of marketing, website, branding, graphic design, all of that jazz.
And a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. We like to say that we are the digital handyman and that we can help anybody, any business, whatever. And we work with a lot of cool different people, but that's allowed us to travel and work from the road from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so we kind of have complementing skill sets, which has been really cool. That wasn't, I mean, I don't even think we realized that when we got married, like, oh, we could actually work really well together, because I wasn't freelance like he was. But ever since we've done it, it's been really nice. So our favorite stuff is to take a project from inception all the way to like the finish line to like produce. So maybe somebody starting, this is just an example, somebody starting a new business, we give them the branding, so that's the logo, the colors, everything that's involved in that. And then we design like the website, we can give them their business cards, we help them set up social media, and we help them figure out either we can manage it or we can educate them. That's really, I like to move that way so people kind of have an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can look like a lot of things. Sometimes it's one-off websites, sometimes it's one-off branding or marketing, whatever, but it's
book
a lot
covers,
of stuff.
like, yeah, it's a lot of things.
Yeah, it can look like a lot of things, but it does allow us to go anywhere, which is really fun. Not to shameless plug, like, hey, come use us. But if you need branding or photography or video or website, like whatever, we have a website, I'll link it down below. But yeah, we do have availability, so that's still a thing. How do you decide where to go next? Budget.
Some of it's budget, some of it's seasons. A lot of it is just kind of gut feeling sometimes. We have a lot of friends who travel the world and they will find a good deal and they go to that location based on that good deal. And while I wish we could be those types of people, and I think naturally...
Slowly we're working on that.
Yeah, I think naturally we are those types of people. Having Kramer and bringing Kramer, our dog, along for travels makes it a little harder to be able to work like that. So we have to be more intentional on the places that we pick.
And we go for longer periods of time. Typically we travel slower, and that's partially because that's how we like to travel, but also it's easier with Kramer. Your coffee is going everywhere. You okay?
I'm sorry.
Every time I see
I'm just so excited.
But yeah, it's a lot of different ways. We like to plan around events or opportunities. So maybe we have to be home, and we do have to be home in July, the end of July. So those few weeks that we have, we're not going to go to Australia for 2 weeks. That's not really traveling slow for us. Some people do that, but that's not how we typically travel. So where we're going in July is going to be a little closer to home. I do that because I'm thinking like short, like, never mind. We like to kind of like get variety in there, mix it up, instead of doing like city, country, country.
And then even then, we like to go international, and then we like to do things domestically. So we like to switch it up.
Domestic is fun. Somebody actually called me the other day. They're like, well, we know you don't really like traveling domestically anymore. And I said, no. We really do like traveling domestically. We do. It's gotten a little bit harder just with national parks and federal lands because we really love those federal lands so much. That's what we really love doing when we're in the States is going to national parks and camping and hiking. It's a little harder to film in those right now. Not impossible. It takes a lot of planning. So.
Yeah, so you'll see when we're back home domestically here in the States, you'll see a lot more probably city stuff rather than outdoorsy stuff until we're able to film in the national parks.
I think we're going to try to mix some in there.
Yeah.
And there's some state forest. Yeah, so we do enjoy traveling domestically, so it's much easier. It really is. More expensive. That's another reason why we don't like to do domestic, especially now that we don't have our van. It's a lot more expensive.
Hotel rooms are expensive.
I'm not a hotel person. Maybe if the Four Seasons sponsored us, I'd be a hotel person. I could dream, right?
You can email us.
That leads us into our next question of overlanding.
A lot of people, if you've been following along, you know that about a year ago, we sold our van, we bought a Tacoma, a Toyota Tacoma, and we said that we were trekking across the world. We were going to overland across the world, and we were building out this truck. And then it's been radio silent on our end to you guys. And that's because there's a lot going on, and we've already mentioned this, but I think we're ready to share a little bit.
We bought the Tacoma with the idea of doing a very minimalist, very small, like essentially truck bed cover with a pop-up tent. It was by Ross Monster. Super cool concept camper. Love it. But the longer we've been off the road, the more we realize we miss it, and we want to do it for a long time. So we're thinking a bigger rig, something specifically that has AC for Kramer, but something that's good, that has like a massive water capacity. We really wanted small at first because we wanted to overland Asia. This is another thing that's like really thrown us off. Because we would stick with the Tacoma and do that really small camper top still. But in order to do Asia, we really needed Myanmar, Burma, to open up. Right now, you can fly into the country, but you cannot drive through. So until that little gap of land is open, we're not going to invest in sending our truck all the way over there because it's just too expensive. That's just part of overlanding in general, is just having to adjust. But now it's given us time to find a different rig that we really want. And you can update them on that. I've talked a lot.
We found a rig that we want, and we've been actively trying to get it. Mm-hmm. They're very expensive and
hard to come by.
And very hard to come by. But we did find one, a used one, for sale, and it's just a waiting game. And I will say that if this falls through, we're hoping that it doesn't, but if it does fall through, we're going to have to scrap our plans again, and we're going to have to figure something else out because we've been waiting far too long. While we want this particular rig, we think it's the perfect fit. We're tired of waiting. We're tired of making you guys wait. We're tired of waiting, and we're ready to move on to the next season. So hopefully, with that said, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some news, and then we'll just start making decisions based off of that news.
Yeah, we were about ready to call it on this one rig because it's just there's just not enough of them out there. But then the email came through right as we were about to quit. We were kind of going to go through Mexico, and then after Mexico, if nothing happened, and then one came available. But I think we need to say, very importantly, one, we don't know how many people are interested in buying this thing. And we know that we can't compete with people's bidding wars because we don't have that kind of cash like a lot of people do. And two, we don't even know the price of it yet. So the manufacturer gave us a idea of how much he thought the thing may go for. And on the low end, we can afford it. On the high end, we can't afford it. So if this couple that's selling it decides they want to get top dollar and there's a lot of competition, it will not be ours. Like, we can't compete with that unless they just want to have compassion on two millennials, which I doubt is going to happen.
We will send a heartfelt letter and put our tears in the envelope.
No.
So that's the update on overlanding. We are still planning on overlanding.
One way or another.
That's how and what we want to do. For those of you who have been along for this entire journey, whether it's been through van life or our international travels, whatever, thanks for sticking along, because we're just two real people trying to make this happen. Like, we don't have any team behind us. We don't have anything like that. We have you guys, and it's us.
Yeah. So I think a lot of travelers who are, bigger channels, they would get their organization for their overlanding plans together on the back end. But because we had to sell our van, and that was such a huge part of our channel, in order to make this next step happen, we felt like we needed to share it, because otherwise it was just suddenly the van was gone and we were staying home and it wouldn't have made sense. So that's kind of where we're at. We're hopeful. We're not sure. We have some backup plans happening, but overlanding is still the top priority. And I miss being on the road. I want to say that. Like, we love traveling by plane and stuff, but by road gets you some really different places, both domestically and internationally. Yeah. How long did it take Chris to adjust not needing to wear glasses?
Several months. And it wasn't because of my vision. It was more just muscle reflexes of I constantly think that I have my glasses on my face. Once the procedure was over and done with, it took about maybe a week for it to, the vision to fully set in. And then after that, I don't even think about it.
But you do something still that I could tell you're not totally used to your glasses being gone. When he's wearing his sunglasses, if he comes in from outside, he'll walk around indoors with his sunglasses on for quite a while until I say, what are you doing? Take those off. I don't think you realize that you have them on. Like, you're so used to filling glasses. Like, I notice it really quick when I'm wearing them inside, but he'll just walk around, not even thinking.
I'm just that cool guy.
He does it all the time. He's walked into the grocery store and he's that guy who has his sunglasses on the entire time.
Yeah, everybody's like,
you look like a jerk.
Everybody's like, yeah, look at that jerk.
International travel versus van travel for longer periods of time.
I think we would prefer international travel if we could do it by van.
Yeah. Van life isn't easy, but I think it's easier for a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
Just because you have everything you need. You have your routine. Yeah, you have to find water and a dump station and all that kind of stuff. But you have your kitchen, you have your own bed, you have all the clothes you need, so you're not packing and unpacking suitcases all the time. To me, it's so much easier.
Yeah. With international travel, when you're traveling to hotel to hotel, hostel to hostel, whatever you're doing, you're bouncing out. You're bouncing around a lot, and
Which
then
is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
But and then eventually you'll start getting a routine. But then you'll move to a different place or whatever. And in the van, I do think that in the van it's harder to get a routine, but that's what makes it fun. Is that every day is different.
What's a talent you really admire and wish you were better at? I wish I were more professional. You know what I mean?
I will say, we come off unassuming. Like people, on a professional level, people are like, they don't have their ducks in a row, and and we do, but I don't know. I mean, it's just our personality. What you see is what you get.
And that could be a good thing, but I do wish I were like a better networker, because I really enjoy sitting there and talking, getting to know people. But as far as working the room, I don't enjoy it. You and I are so casual that we just don't, I don't know. Like when we talk with brands, you can tell the people who are like, they are really good at corporate.
You can tell the networkers from the people who authentically want to get to know somebody. And I think
some networkers do. Don't say that.
No, but you understand the sentiment. Like it's a blanketed statement, but you understand what I'm saying. And Sara is very intentional on getting to know everybody that she talks to the point to where it interrupts a lot of our filming when we're out and about, because we'll meet somebody and she's getting their entire life story, and I'm like, Sara, we've got to film this food, eat right now. And she's like, no, I want to talk to this person, I want to know them. And
I don't want to lose who we are, but then again, I know that there's things I need to work on. But that's definitely a weakness for me, is I'm not very assertive. There's a fine balance between like self-promotion and like being professional, like selling yourself. Like I'm not good at selling myself. I'm not good at walking up and being like, hi, I'm Sara, and people being like, oh, she's really professional. I come off as the nice person.
You come off as a person who wears overalls.
I do. I 100% do. Oh my gosh.
And that's not a bad thing at all.
No, it's, I like that about myself. I do. I like that people can approach us and feel like they have a friend, but I am such an overalls person. You're right.
Are you planning on having kids?
I hate this question. I would never say never.
Currently, in this season of our lives, there's no plans. This is such a difficult question to answer and put it in front of thousands of people, because honestly, it's between me and Sara. And there are certain topics that are reserved just for us and doesn't involve anybody else. And I think that's one of those topics.
But for now, we're having fun being aunts and uncles to all of our friends' kids. They're really cute. And then at the other day, we say bye. We're going to Thailand. We'll see y'all later.
Have fun at Chuck E. Cheese.
What is your best resource for booking flights? And we always use Google Flights. So this is assuming you're not using points and miles to book your stuff. That's a whole other topic. We are not the ones to answer on that. We actually have a podcast episode all about points and miles.
She's getting so good at the segues.
Assuming you're not using points and miles, if you're just using cash, we always use Google Flights because it's a nice way to choose all of our filters. We only want one layover. We don't want to have too long of a layover. We want to fly these airlines, what days of the week, all that kind of thing. We can look at the price calendar, put all those filters in, and then see where it's cheapest. That's really nice. We like Google Flights. So if you haven't used that, use that to find your flight, and then always book directly with the airline. That is so important. Don't book through Expedia or Priceline or Booking.com. Like,
don't do
book
it
through the source.
Same for the hotels, because if you decide to cancel and you book through Booking.com or something like that, they're not going to help you. But if you book directly through them, you have a little bit more leeway.
What's something you hate about travel that's hard to admit as a travel YouTuber?
Travel days just really stink. No matter, like, whoever is filming in the airports, it is not fun.
You're stronger than me.
Every time we pull out the camera and we're in the airport, it's DEFCON 5. I don't know why. It's just so stressful. We are not able to do everything. It's not fun.
Honestly, having the lounge with our credit card helps. I mean, lounges are great, but I do feel like the idea of travel days and flying has been so romanticized by YouTube. Not that it can't be enjoyable. I mean, it can be fun sometimes. It really is. I mean, like, for example, we have the Amex card, and we had a long layover in Dallas recently, in the Centurion Lounge in Dallas. You can get free manicures and 15-minute massages. So I had a manicure while we were enjoying breakfast. It was really kind of fun. So, like, there are little fun perks. Yeah, so I mean, sometimes it can be fun, but I do think that's been romanticized. It's hard when we have Kramer with us, and we always have all of our camera gear, so we're always hyper alert of what's happening.
What is the best piece of travel gear that you own?
I like my noise canceling headphones, our Bose, but also our Peak Design tech pouches.
I was going to say that too.
Okay,
Yeah, our favorite piece of my
we
favorite.
Need to do it. We should do like an open thing.
We should probably do that.
Shorter reel.
It's a Peak Design bag, and it is like Mary Poppins. You can just stick anything in there, and it's amazing how much it holds.
Why is the color muted on some videos when filming yourself / podcast? Is it intentional? Should we touch on that one? No, it's not intentional.
So, Sarah and I, we are constantly learning, and we're trying to get better.
What you're seeing with the muted colors. So you can shoot with auto on cameras, and then Sony has something called S-Log. And there's different S-Logs, but essentially what that is, it's a really large file, and you actually add all the color and stuff in. It's like a really stripped down way of saying that. So there's so much information in those files that you can really customize it. And that's really more of a filmmaking thing. A lot of vloggers don't do this. Some are doing it now, or they're hiring other people to do it because it's a really hard skill to hone. But I actually really want to learn this skill. It's called color grading. And I'm terrible at it, is what I'm saying. And we've been shooting an S-Log because I've been trying to learn. And what you're seeing online is actually what I thought looked better. And granted, the room that we're doing the podcast in is really hard because there's like this orange couch behind us, and then we're pale skinned, and it always ends up looking kind of orangey if I'm learning is what that is. So me uploading that, I think I've nailed it and it looks good. And then you see it next to the people's other footage, which is shot in auto, and there's just so much more contrasted, and there's so much more color in it. And so that's why ours looks extra washed out. Plus I did a bad job on it, and I'm trying, but that's where YouTube, you think it looks good, and then you see it on YouTube and you can't take it back down and re-edit it, but it's also part of the learning process. So what you're pointing out, and we've had multiple people point this out, and every time I'm like, I'm just trying. It's just like, I want to say that it's part of the learning process, and it's very humbling because there are some people out there who are really good at it, but I also don't want to switch back to auto because I really want to learn this. And I've been learning it off camera. I wouldn't have released those videos if I didn't think they looked okay. There were some I'm like, like some of the podcasts, one of the podcast interviews, I knew it didn't look good, but we couldn't go back and reshoot that podcast episode. So that was a mistake, but we're working on it. It's just, it's a new skill we're developing. So YouTube and vlogging doesn't give you the luxury of some people with filmmaking. They spend months editing one video or years. We have a vlog every week. And so I take a little bit of time each week and try to get better and better at it. So that's what that is. It's just, it's a learning curve.
That's us trying to get better. So that's our FAQ video.
How long was this?
I don't know.
That's it for now.
That's it. All right.
More coffee.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, y'all.
For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.